Alright guys, it's time for a showdown between Paragon Pets. Featuring this week, the Shogun. Alright, since it's the new release, we have the update to the Paragon Dreadnaught. Now, if you know last week, the drop rates for those were low. They weren't dropping as often as the UW3017 Pet, which also released last week. Meaning the UW3017 outbeat the Paragon Dreadnaught. And the Paragon, usually when we get Paragon Pets, the rare one gives off so much. But this one gave off so little. Now the Paragon Dreadnaught has been updated. It has been fixed. The drop rates are higher, making it more viable and able to stack up to the UW3017. But how well do these two Paragon Pets stack up to the new one? Well, let's go find out. Now, in order to do the Shogun Paragon Pet quest, you have to go to Foshaya, which I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's the beginning of the Dage storyline. Now, for this purpose, what we're going to do is we are going to measure up the speed and how long it takes in a private room solo farming the Shogun compared to the Paragon Dreadnaught and the UW3017 solo farming. Now, I'll be right back and get right with you. Alright guys, we're in Foshaya now. Now, whenever I start this, by the time I get done, I will tell you exactly how long it took to farm this. And then we'll compare it to the UW3017 and the Paragon Dreadnaught. Then, I'll give you guys my final conclusion. Alright guys, this quest has been finished, both of them, and it took roughly 3-ish minutes, I want to say, maybe a little bit less, maybe about 2.5. Now, with this one, I could see some potential for this, because in the design notes, what Alina had said was that the more player feedback they have about this pet, with updates to it, I could see potential in this being a stackable Paragon Pet like the Bright Paragon, which means that would lead it in competitive lines with the Bright Paragon, because everybody knows how good the Bright Paragon Pet is because it's stackable. Its items and drops are stackable, which is fantastic. Sadly, I don't have it on this account. I had it on my old account though, and everybody knows who that little sucker was. Too bad he's gone. I don't think I'll be able to get him back. So, anyways. Let's go ahead and jump right over to the Paragon Dreadnaught. I'll see you guys in Laken. In a private room, of course. Alright guys, now you may have noticed whenever I first started the Shogun Pet that I wasn't really in a private room, but at the beginning of it, it was all private-ish until I got all the way up to the top where everybody was at. Normally, whenever you're farming in a public room, always go to the top first and make your way down. Or if you just get in there, make your way up from the bottom all the way to the top. That's usually what I do, and I get it done quickly. Like, it goes by fast in public rooms. I'm telling you, the Shogun is fantastic. It is fast in a public room. You have no idea. But let's test the Paragon Dreadnaught and see how fast it is now with the update to it. Now, everybody knows how much is required. We have 10 and 10, and 5, 6, and 10. We'll see how fast we get these. Now, if you notice that with the Shogun, that it was kind of RNG based, depending on the spawns, and how it depends on how fast you go. It isn't really the same with this. But let's go ahead and see how long it takes. We'll start at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Alright guys, I just finished it. That took roughly 4 minutes. But that's all because of the RNG drop chance. That's how low it is. Well, it's not really that low anymore, but for the second quest that drops 20 tokens, it's still roughly low. Because the circuit board doesn't always drop. It doesn't drop as fast as the blueprints does. That's the one problem I have with this. But if you notice, it is faster, but it doesn't stack up to the Shogun. There's one other thing I want to mention about the Shogun. It is the quest taking a boat trip. It drops the Eternal Legion Sword, which is the weapon I have equipped right now. When it first released, it somewhat resembled Frostborn from World of Warcraft. But I mentioned that to Alina, and they had some adjustments made to it. And I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in their artwork. I love it. It's fantastic. But there's one flaw. There's always one flaw. The sword still resembles Frostborn too much. Like when they reworked it, they made it look even more like Frostborn. It's why one thing that makes me cringe and triggers me. But other than that, it is a fantastic looking sword. It's amazing. But that's a little bit off topic, in some sense. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go see how fast it takes to do the UW3017 Pet quests. These take place in the underworld. First room after you get past Clunk, or quote-unquote King Clunk. Anyways, I'll see you guys when I'm over there and ready to go. Alright guys, I'm here at the first room past King Clunk, or Clunk, whichever one you prefer to call him. Anyways, the monsters that drop the items that you need are the Dread Fiend and the Infernal Fiends. Now, I'll say this. It didn't get an update because the drops are still as like they was when it was first released. The Dreadblade's going to take the longest sometimes. If you're in a public room, it's obviously going to go faster. And if you want to, you can always do the room glitch to make it go faster. Now, I don't really know much about the room glitch and how it works and how fast it works, but most people have videos on how you can do it. Now, I don't endorse doing glitches and excessive use of glitches and abuse to glitches. But I mean, if you want to do them, then by all means you can do them. I don't care. It's up to you. Not my problem. Now let's see how fast it takes to do both of these quests combined, opposed to the Shogun and the Dreadnaught. I'm just going to call it the Dreadnaught because why not? It's literally called the Dreadnaught. The house is called the Dreadnaught House. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I'll see you guys when I'm done, and we'll start at 15:05. Alright guys, it's finished. It took roughly, I want to say, 4 minutes as well. Maybe 5. I can't really tell because I can't really remember what time I said it would start. But I want to say it's either the same amount of time as it took the Dreadnought, or maybe a minute longer. But like I said, in public rooms, this goes by a lot faster. You could also exploit the glitches if you want to make it go by even faster, but I don't really endorse that. My final verdict on this is that if you want a Paragon Pet, I would buy the Dreadnought, get the sword, sell it, and so that way it's in your buyback. Do the same thing for the UW3017. Get the katanas from that quest and that pet. Sell the pet so it's in your buyback, or wait till next year to buy it back. Get up to, or use them before you sell them to get up 2,000 Legion tokens, and get the Shogun, because I wouldn't buy it for ACs. Honestly, I wouldn't unless you already have a Paragon Pet and you want it for the rarity, but seasonal, so don't know why. My final verdict, though, like I said, the Shogun outbeats both of them. But how well does it stack up to the Bright? I really can't say much about that because I don't have the Bright Paragon Pet. But I will say this, if they do give it a buff to where it can stack, I see potential in it competing against the Bright Paragon, because the Bright Paragon, its quest items can stack up. But the Shoguns can't. Now, if I want to give my feedback on it, I'd say just adjust the Shogun to where it's stackable. That's all I can really say. So until the next video, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. I'll see you guys in the next one. Catch you later.